What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Lake Julian Disc Golf Course looking at forehand formwork, and last time we did the 9 to 10 speed control drivers. Now we have actual distance drivers, 12 speed. So that means that our lower end is going to be a little bit higher, but that means that our higher end is also going to be higher. So to get these destroyers to do what I want them to do, I have to throw them harder than I've thrown any of the other discs so far. We have this Henna Blomrus Tour Series and this Calvin Heimberg Tour Series. One of these is a little bit more stable than the other, but for both of these, they're both 12 speed rims. They are stable destroyers, so I am gonna have to throw them, but focusing on my follow through and the spin release on the forehand. It's a lot to work out. Let's start throwing. Since I don't know if I'm going to accidentally chop it, we're going to start Calvin first. That is a stable destroyer. This one should hold straight for a little bit longer. And one thing that like I said earlier, I'm really focusing on here is with these faster rim discs, I'm really focusing on getting the active wrist, getting my hand to come through on the follow through instead of just hitting it. Because if you just throw the forehand, yeah, it'll come out, it'll go, but it's not going to have enough spin for the speed that I'm now putting on the disc. Yeah, that one is definitely a straighter destroyer. And I think I did a little bit better job at coming through all the way through with my hand, giving it more spin, giving it more rigidity in its angle. All of those things made that one hold a little bit straighter. But this isn't a destroyer review. This is how hard do I have to throw it to still get the desired shot. And I don't think I threw them hard enough. I think I'm gonna have to actually juice them a little bit more to get the shot I want out of these discs. Not much of a wind on this hole. It's starting to pick up, but there's really nothing. We are gonna have the downhill helping to make the discs feel like they're going faster, but I am gonna have to throw harder than I did on the last hole because I didn't see any flip. I had to turn the discs to get in there. So how high do I need to go to reach the lower threshold of these destroyers? And for both these destroyers, I think the threshold's going to be different. Both the lower and the upper end threshold, to the point where I don't know if I can reach the max threshold for this destroyer. Potentially this one. I think I can over torque it enough. This one is stable enough. I don't think I can over torque it to the point where it's unusable. We are gonna maybe eventually try that, but one thing that I do want to point out for when I'm throwing a faster shot for my forehand is my wrist placement when I'm holding the disc. Because when I'm throwing a slower disc, a Pyro, a Rhino, all of these slower putter mid-range style discs, I have a little bit more neutral placement with my wrist. It sits slightly back on my arm so that when I come through, I have a little bit more, I have to go further to get the same wrist through follow through, but it's okay because I'm throwing at a slower speed. When I'm throwing a faster forehand, so for these destroyers, I'm not sitting in a neutral placement or a slightly back placement. I'm actually sitting almost forward, so that when my arm goes forward, I'm already trying to keep my hand here, so the tendon snap is going to be a little bit quicker. It's worked out so far for the most part. Let's see if we can actually make it work. Here. Okay. I torqued it enough to see some flip up out of it, but I released that on probably too much hyzer. I'm gonna try to come through a good bit flatter with this Calvin destroyer. Yeah, that's better. Came through just a touch of anhyzer, but it being a destroyer and me actually getting it to go downhill, I didn't throw it fast enough for it to do that shot on its own. It did that shot because of the angle I threw it on and because of the downhill. How fast do I have to throw it to start to see a flip up out of that destroyer? I may not be able to throw that one fast enough to get it to its lower threshold, which honestly is great because that means I have a really nice and stable destroyer, and it'll be that way for a while for it to beat in. But that means that I still have more work that I could be doing. And sometimes it is also helpful to see throws from different angles. So it sets you up kind of to the side. I'm gonna throw one hyzer forehand and one flat, maybe flex forehand. We'll see how the hyzer one turns out first. And then I'll decide which one it's gonna be. Okay, probably gonna be a flat shot. That one, I actually hit it hard enough with enough snap to get it to flip up to flat. It wasn't an aggressive amount of hyzer, but it was released on hyzer. It did pop up all the way to flat. This Calvin one's probably not gonna do that. So to ensure that I don't lose it, I'm gonna try to throw a flat shot. And I know the form can be slightly different for the different angles. I know that for my flat shots, they do tend to kind of be a little bit more choppy, pop the wrist down. That's why for me a flat shot oftentimes comes out as a baby flex, because I'm just not that good. And I'm so bad that I didn't lose the destroyer because I hit the first tree and dropped right in the middle of the fairway. Yeah, let's go see if we can reach somewhere between 350 and 380 foot forehand on the next hole, where I think I'm gonna really have to gas these discs up. And now we're starting to get to the distances where once you start to hit the over like 300 foot mark, you're starting to see distance differences between the two destroyers. So that means to get the Calvin destroyer there, I'm gonna have to throw it a lot harder because its lowest threshold is much higher than for the Henna destroyer. So I'm gonna be able to throw the Henna destroyer flat, maybe a little bit of hyzer, and just kind of firm. Whereas the Calvin's gonna have to be like 70 or 80%, which is a little bit more than firm. Well, not when you throw it with that much hyzer. If I threw that hard, I needed it to be flat. This one, I hope it doesn't come out flat because it'll be too stable. So, actually, you know what? Let's gas it up let's throw it really, really hard and see if we can make it all the way there, because I want to know where the threshold is for this, and I still haven't got there. Wow, that thing is beefy. I got all the way there, but man, that thing is stable. I possibly may have found the lowest end of the threshold, at least for forehands, because for spin rate, my forehand spin rate is so low that the arm speed doesn't have to be as high for the threshold marker to be met, because of the certain amount of torque, right? So it's still, I might be able to torque it to the threshold, but I can't throw it at the threshold yet. I think is where the issue is coming from. Whereas the henna, I can throw it at the threshold, so I don't have to juice it, because I can actually get a normal style flight by just throwing it flat. So this whole long-winded video, I'll just say, go find your thresholds, figure out what discs you have, figure out what those thresholds are. I think I may have found the lower end threshold of this henna destroyer. I don't know if I can quite attain the lower end threshold of this Calvin destroyer. I can torque it to get the shot I want, but I don't know if I can actually throw it fast enough to get the shot I want. Now we're gonna see if over torquing is a possibility. So we're gonna throw this henna one really hard, and then I'm gonna try to equal that with a Calvin and see where if I can actually reach the upper threshold, because they are destroyers and my arm speed isn't that high, but also my spin rate is also not really that high, so maybe it balances out. I mean, that's really good. I threw it pretty flat. We got the little turn and drift and then the fade back. It's it's still new. It's still pretty brand new. So it still has a lot of really good stability. And while that one might seem pretty stable for most people, it's pretty straight compared to this one. Let's see if over torquing possibly might be able to happen. I'm going to put it up here and crunch it. And let's see how far it goes. Over torquing is a possibility. So I'm gonna have to continue to experiment with the Calvin to find the perfect balance, because I can torque it to get the shot I want, but I can over torque it. I can absolutely overdo it. So where is the perfect balance? That's for me to find out, and for me to just spend time throwing that destroyer and figuring it out. And I can't help you with yours, because your discs are going to fly differently for you than they will for me, because everyone has a slightly different throw. So you're going to have to take your discs out and figure out where those thresholds are, and figure out how fast you have to throw it, and can you torque it to get the shot you want, which is, from a coach's perspective, they're always going to hate me when I say this, but sometimes if you just torque it a little bit, you might get the shot you want, or lighter weight, or just, I can't help you with your discs. You're gonna have to do that on your own, because every disc is different. I am slowly figuring out my discs, and as my bag continues to change over the course of this year and potentially more years, who knows where I'll end up with all of this. But all I do know is the destroyers are going pretty far, and if I hit them properly, I can get a lot of good distance and a lot of good control. But they're still a lot more touchy than my pyro, which is why 9 times out of 10, if there is a forehand on a course and it is not wide open and a distant shot, I'm reaching for the pyro because I know it. Go out, learn your discs so you can have the confidence in your discs that I have in the pyro that I'm trying to gain with these destroyers. Hopefully y'all enjoy content like this. If so, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, make sure to comment all of that down below. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber only giveaways. Definitely helps me out as well. Oh yeah, if you want to be automatically entered into monthly giveaways, check out the memberships. Until next time, see you out on the course.